Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 124 of the Seller Club podcast. Let's drop that beat.
Hey, hey, welcome back. Let's go. Springtime. Feel that flow. Little sneeze, but we don't slow down. Seller Club, we run this town.
Hey, Ken.
What up? What up?
How you doing?
Warm.
At long last.
Yeah, warm and sneezing.
Yes, also same.
Today I've been holding off and trying not to take Claritin D until it gets bad because we have a long spring to
That's
use
true.
it, and I didn't want to get immune by it, but today was the first day that I was like, I need it because my eyes
like
were watering and everything like that. So I was like,
For
can't
sure.
hold off any longer.
I know. I've been hitting the allergy medicine hard because I've been singing a lot lately and I need to be able to rely on my lungs
Yeah.
for that. But on the days when I'm not, I don't take it. I try to take a break, give my body a break from it.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's good or bad. Someone tell us, some doctor weigh in about if we should.
I think it's like anything else, like the tolerance, because I know for a fact that if I keep taking any meds, after a while it just doesn't work anymore.
Well, right, but for some things, it's like you want to maintain.
You want to keep it like there.
Yeah. So I don't know how it works.
Yeah, it does say like on the Claritin D, it's good for 24 hours. So I have to I guess wait and take it every 24 hours or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but I've actually been sitting over bins of thrift store inventory, which always makes me sneeze. So I think that's just adding an insult to injury. Yeah. But the good news is that's because I've been processing my back stock, shall we say, death pile, if you will.
Yep.
And I'm glad that that's getting done. But I got to tell you, Ken, we are now in the second week of April. The second full week, and I have gone a little bit rogue from my plans, which frankly I'm not surprised by. But it's been interesting. So can I tell you about that first?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Why have you not been sticking to the plan?
What is wrong? I mean, we just are constantly off in the weeds without Captain Consistency anymore.
Right.
Like, Glenn, we need your
Glenn's fault.
Back. It's his fault. It's all his fault. No, but I set out to do a sprint month of sorts, kind of like our friend Kendall did in March. But I'm traveling this month, so I only have 18 working days. So I basically just, took the amount of work that I needed to get done on a couple of different tasks, divided it by 18, and did here's the daily dosage of how many photos I need to take, how many bins I need to inventory, etc. So doing that at all in the first place was a big deal for me because I like to binge my tasks.
Right.
Or how would you call that? Not binge, but
batch list.
Yeah, batch. Yeah, batch
you
work.
Batch
right?
work. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was I'm trying this new way, and it was very successful the first week. It was harder than I thought because I think I might have overshot a little bit. I gave myself a little too much to do. One day at a time. It was wow, it's harder to hit the goal each day than I thought. It sounded like not that much stuff to do, and it ended up being a lot more than I thought.
Was it because you felt you were slower than anticipated time?
I think the hardest part was the inventory is really variable. So some bins have 8 things in them, and some bins have 100 things in them.
Oh, and you were counting bins.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's hard because you might have to do items instead of bins.
I had a whole slew of bins during that first week that were hard ones. So that part, it took me more time than I expected, I guess. Not that I'm great at estimating how much time things take anyway, but that's why you can gather data on that, and then it's based on something, which is normally what I do. But anyway, so all that to say, it was very successful the first week. But this week was, in some ways, it was a really busy week on other fronts. And for whatever reason, I decided, on Monday, okay, I'm going to do the opposite this week and basically compare the 2 weeks and see how doable
Right.
it felt, or the difference. Like, I wanted to experience those methods back to back and see
Mhm.
how they were different. So I did my normal thing, which was batching tasks. And so that means, like, so far this week, I photographed and listed, I think, 34 items. So 30 would have been like regular items, or 36 would have been however many I would need to do for the whole week, because it was going to be 6 per day for 5
Okay.
days. I've done no movie posters yet, and
Okay.
we're getting to the end of the week here when we're recording this.
Right.
And so I still have to do that, or
So
I
you're
don't
saying
know.
you're not gonna get to the movie posters.
I might not. However, last week at the end of my normal week, I had my helper for a couple of hours and we did like almost 40. So I
Okay.
basically did all the posters for this week last
Oh,
week
okay.
anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So I
Yeah,
wasn't too worried
cause
about that.
yeah,
But
cause 30 items, 30 posters.
right.
You
It's
could
like
blow through.
12 posters and 6 regular items was my goal per
Okay.
day. So anyway, I'm close on the totals, I
Mm-hmm.
guess, but it's just like I didn't space it out evenly like I was going
Right.
to. So now, but I've listed a ton of stuff. I've listed, added over 1,500 of listed value. Today, I'm doing a whole bunch of photos because next week I'm traveling. And so I
Mm-hmm.
want to be able to work on those listings while I'm gone, and like defer that work to during the trip when I have downtime, because I definitely will. So anyway, it's been interesting because it has felt way less balanced. It's felt like, but at the same time, it's felt more familiar because this is normally how I work.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, yeah.
for me, there's like a big premium on focus, and like switching tasks feels like it costs me a lot in terms of like my internal resources. So
Yeah.
that's, I think, why I prefer to batch my work. But the jury is still out. Like, I think when I get back from my trip and have one more like normal week in the month, I'm going to probably go back to the really
Small
broken
batch.
down, yeah, and kind
Mm.
of sandwich the typical experience with the new experience and see how much more I get done and how I feel about it. And I don't know, just how it overall affects my productivity. But the good news is, both types of weeks, both ways of structuring my work, like I have gotten a lot done both weeks. And that
Mm.
is ultimately what needed to happen. So we'll see. I don't know if I'll end up getting my entire pile done.
Right.
And as you know, we are focusing on sourcing this month. So in the meantime, as I'm sourcing things in these very specific ways, which we're going to be talking about in a minute, I'm trying to fold those in and get them listed too. So that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
on top of the pile I'm already trying to tackle.
Hmm.
But what about you? What was your week like?
Well, April started really different for us, um, because my sister, which is from Canada, um, we spontaneously decided that they were gonna spend Easter weekend here with us. And when that happens, JC goes on a tangent on cleaning. Um, so
She's a great hostess.
yeah, so we pretty much halted all the operation. Basically, let me see the dates, because they got here Thursday, which was the second, um, and on the first we had a a few phone calls, one really important phone call on that. So we really didn't do much on Wednesday. So basically, from Thursday to Monday, they were here.
Yeah.
So nothing got done, right? So
Work wise.
work wise, nothing got done.
Yeah.
We're just shipping. But one of the things that we've kind of done differently is I have a well, I guess what I'm obsessive on a task and I get bored quickly. So I'm a sprinter
But
basically.
yeah, but you're also like, everything has to be listed within 24 hours.
Yeah, like
That's
that, right?
obsessive.
But I've gotten better because I know we cannot do that.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that remain constant is we still go work out. So
Yeah.
we didn't sacrifice working out, so that's constant. So I'm really happy about that. So what we have actually done was we purged a lot of our shoes. Shoes is the easiest way for us because our shoes are kind of like displayed.
Yeah.
So it was like, up, I haven't worn that, I haven't worn that.
You're
So
not
we
digging in the back of a
yeah,
closet or
so
something.
it's not hidden, right? So far we have listed $1,800 worth of footwear that
Wow.
we don't use anymore, that I'm okay letting go of. Like that one, nothing hurts.
Yeah.
Nothing hurts on that one. Someday we'll go to the stuff that hurts, but not yet. We still have stuff. So far, for this month, right? Well, basically, I think we've only worked 5 days this month, really, for the business.
Yeah.
We have listed 100 items like live, and we have 30 drafts currently.
Nice.
So I think we could we could get on that. So we might end this week with 150 listings, and that for us is very doable. That's a doable listing pace for us, and that's kind of like, well, I guess if you split it up, right? That was that like 20 a day. Well, since we're working 5, so that's 30 a day. 30 a day for us is doable. Me and JC could knock that down in 3 hours.
Yeah.
2 to 3 hours. It depends on how complex the draft is, and
Right.
and the photos are. For footwear, we could get it done super fast. If it's footwear. So I think we're gonna dig into some footwears a little bit more, and then next week we're gonna transition heavy into apparel, which is the back-breaking work.
Yeah.
The lightest
Oh,
things
yeah.
are the back-breaking work. So that
That's what
so
I'm working
far, I have I feel good on the progress. It's just
Yeah.
that I want to be this consistent this month. Like
Yeah.
we're thinking like 4 or 5 hours per day.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a budget time.
That's kind of the same for me, except
yeah.
I'm one person. But yeah.
Yeah, and then the no spend, I did really good in the first week because obviously my sister's family were here. I did take them to the outlets, and I was like, I did really good. I didn't buy
Yeah,
anything.
that seems dangerous.
Right, that was dangerous. I was like, oh man, if there was a good deal, I'd snag it, right?
Yeah.
But I kind of got preoccupied buying shoes for my niece and nephew. So, and the cool part about it, it wasn't my budget because my parents called me and it's like, hey, spend this X amount of money on, their grandkids. So
Aw,
I just
that's
facilitated the
nice.
transfer of finances. So
Right,
I didn't
right.
even spend money until we got to New Balance. New Balance. It's usually kind of like a personal shopping style for there. I usually don't. I don't expect to buy
You
a
aren't
lot.
doing arbitrage.
Yeah, but for some reason I found I found one pair that was like $60, $69, right? And it was 50% off. So it's like, oh, this is a great deal. Look up the comps. It's like $180 shoe. I was like, oh, this is that moment that a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
I pay 30, and then I would, sell it for worst case scenario 150. Great flip. Went to the cash register. It rang out for $30 extra 50, so it was $15 plus tax.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is even a better deal. So
You would
that's
be
when
a fool to pass that up.
yes, that was a no fool pass, and then I was like, wait, I think there's more of these. I went back. There was nothing on the exact shoe, but I found 2 more shoes that was marked down for $29.99, extra 30% off. So that day I spent $48. Really happy about that. And then this week I was like, okay, we're gonna chill. This is easy. We're not gonna go to any Ross or Burlington. We're not gonna shop until manager texted me and said, hey, we got a restock. Come on over. And I can't say no. Those are the texts that you can't say no to. So that day we spent $800 on 20 pairs of footwear, which is still really good, great deals.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I broke my no spend, and Kendall was right.
That you weren't gonna last.
Yeah.
Well, the
And
good news is,
I think only lasted like 7 days.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you have another chance. You're
I
gonna
have
start
another
over
chance.
again this
Yeah,
week.
yeah, yeah. It resets every week. So
Yeah.
um that's the goal. I do like the exercise of being mindful about not spending, because the big, like I was telling my actually my hairdresser the other day. She's like, "What have you been up to? Traveling, buying a lot?" And I was like, "You know what? We're doing this challenge of no spend, and it's mentally the hardest
You're
thing.
like, and let me tell you, it's a challenge.
It is a challenge because the buying part feels busy, right? You
Mm-hmm.
going out, getting on your car,
And like
driving to a place.
productive.
Yeah, and there's like a success moment when you're on your way home, when it's like, oh, that was a great deal. So
Yeah.
it's a very fulfilling, right? But like when you're at home, scouring for inventory, there's always inventory to list, and then you list it, and then there's really no like
There's
there's
no
no
fireworks.
there's no fireworks, right? But what we've been doing is we haven't done the post-it note, but we're gonna do post-it note. We actually ran out of post-it notes, but JC's been taking notes. We've been like kind of like texting it to each other how many listings we do daily. So like she would text me, "This is how many we've done today," because she actually makes it go live, so she gets the final count. So there was one day we did well, not one day, like one afternoon we did 40 listings.
Yeah.
So that was like okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So I think some way, like, you gotta find something to, like, I do like the whiteboard, like a tally sheet. You gotta do something, kind of like what you're doing, and I've been posting on Seller Club IG account, kind of just like holding myself accountable. Like I gotta do something daily.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
it's been interesting trying to do the sprint month and the challenge together. Like they do kind of go
Mm-hmm.
together in a way. They can go together, so it's fine. But I was I've been processing a lot of inventory. Basically, there's some stuff. I only recently set up a photo booth out at my shop. So I had been doing all my photos at home still in the original e-basement. And I still have a photo booth here too. So I had several bins full of clothes that I'd
Mm.
gotten probably over the last, I don't know, probably just like this year, like
Mm-hmm.
2026, that were like thrifted, clearance at one of my favorite like resale shops. And I find
Mm-hmm.
some of my best stuff there that's not retail arbitrage. So it's really good stuff. But in all the shuffle of trying to like get things more functions up and running in the shop and stuff, I just hadn't prioritized getting them listed. So now I'm going through all of that. And guess
Mm-hmm.
what else I found? Other stuff that was mine, my own personal stuff that I'd already pulled out to list and sell when I
Yeah, you
cleaned out
haven't
my
listed.
closet earlier this year. So that was kind of cool to see. But, it's been sitting there for like at least a couple months.
Mm.
So it feels good to be getting it up and running. For me, as far as our sourcing from home challenge this week, obviously I did spend no dollars. I have not sourced
Oh,
at
that's
all.
good. That's good.
Yeah. I've also, the best way for me to do that is just to stay out of places where I can spend money. So that's what I've done. I've been spending so much time in my shop trying to, get my sprint month going that I haven't been outsourcing, and that's what I mean
Mm-hmm.
how they can dovetail together. But anyway, I have listed, well, we're like kind of in the middle. I've really listed probably 40 things this week. The other thing that's interesting about doing my sprint month, which consists of, photos and listing death pile stuff and doing my inventory of my bins, I have found stuff in the bins that, like, oh my gosh, a gut wrenching amount of stuff that's not listed. So that's a whole other
Mm.
conversation. But some of those things are multiple quantity, or they're items that maybe for whatever reason, like they got returned and they didn't get relisted or something. So there's
Mm-hmm.
actually been, every time I've been doing inventory each day, there's at least one or two items I'm able to just relist without having to rephotograph it, because it's
Oh, wow,
like
that's
it
good.
still exists there.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just not live, or the
So like
quantity's
you
wrong,
sold
or
something and then you
yeah.
still have another one.
So I
Okay.
actually have been also listing along the way on all the times when I've been doing
Mm-hmm.
inventory, which is good. Cuz like this week, I think I started with, oh, I don't know. It was like I had 80 or something more bins to do, and I binged inventory really hard early in the week this week, and I ended up getting down to I have 25 left.
Wow.
So that's a lot. I mean, I started with like 130, so I've done over 100.
So 25 left. You'll be done next week. Just yeah.
Yeah, I'm like my goal is to be done by the end of April, right? So
Okay, yeah.
hopefully I'll be done early.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, I did presently source maybe only 6 or 8 new things from home this week, and it was about $300, but I did get them all listed, so that was pretty good. There's one thing that I thought was going to be my best thing, and then when I got to looking at it to photograph it, I realized I probably needed to get it dry cleaned. So I didn't end up listing that one yet. But yeah, as far as like that kind of first weekly challenge of not spending, like that's one part, right? Not spending, period. And then the other part was sourcing from home. Was there any big takeaway that you had about either of those?
I think a lot of it is I realize we spent a lot of time sourcing.
Oh yeah.
And if we cut it off, like I feel like relaxed, rested, relaxed, somewhat anxious.
Kind of bored.
Kind of bored, right? Like, what am I doing here?
Kind of restless, yeah.
Yeah, kind of restless and relaxed. So that was one. The other thing is, really like, for me, this is kind of like a ebb and flow kind of feeling of really falling in love with listing and taking care of what you already have. I think sometimes we get too caught up on the chase of like, oh man, when can I source 500 more things? That I guess for 1-2 person operation, when you're buying, there's really nobody doing the other things, right? Like when you're out and about, and
yeah,
when you
it's
come
like
home,
a trade-off of how you're
right? It is a trade-off, right? Yeah.
Totally.
So like literally one night, I guess I started it. I just went ham and just cut off like a bunch of cardboard box that we don't use and just picking up trash and just kind of making
all the housekeeping,
making it look like if somebody was to come in, I would be like, oh, check out the basement, like,
yeah,
that's kind of like the thing that I discovered that it is a trade-off, right? Maybe I've just been okay with a trade-off,
yeah,
but when there's a trade-off, you gotta switch the other trade-off too, right? Like,
yeah,
now
like
that I'm not sourcing
it. Ooh, I use the word balance, but you do.
Oh yeah, the rhythm, right?
Yep.
The rhythm's gotta go on. Maybe it's upbeat. Now we gotta hit the downbeat. That basically the downstairs, right? For us, the basement. And just really like trying to make, because here's the thing, like I think we all have like a basement or a place that you work at. The more cluttered that place is, the less time you want to spend there.
Yeah,
it's just general, right? So me and JC just kind of trying to make it cozy again, make it cozy, like, to a point like JC's really into scent, right? She puts a diffuser there.
Yeah,
it smells different. Put some relaxing music in there, and then we both get like we don't have anything for the next hour, buckle in.
Yeah,
like power moves, that's what we call it. Like, let's do power moves, and we kind of know, like, she lines up all the photos that I need to take. She gets the draft and she's like, okay, because I could zoom through it, and she's like, I do that, and then all of a sudden now we're at a point like we need to re-rack it and organize it. So
yeah,
a lot of I guess those kind of works that you just don't account, right? I guess maybe we do. I don't know. I guess we just don't
know. I mean, I'm the same way. Like, I don't have a regular routine of
like a cleaning time
tidying
or
up
like
my space. I do in my living space.
Yeah,
but
I
don't in my workspace as much.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about that for like next month, like doing some kind of a, like, I'm going to pay attention to this. Cause now, like, I've had my e-basement at home for going on like basically a year and a half, going on 2 years. And there's like stuff that when I first moved things into this office, I was like, I'm going to do that. And I still
Right.
haven't done it,
Hmm.
which is the case for my whole house because there's
Right.
always more stuff to do than I have
It's a
time for.
project. Yeah.
Right. But I do think it is really, I mean, I know for myself how much my environment affects me. And so
Yeah.
I really do need to actually prioritize it sometime soon.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be a great reward for pushing hard this month in these different ways that we already are. But
Yeah.
I like it. I like having the challenge and just kind of being forced to examine these things in a certain way
Yeah.
that normally it's
That's
easy to
true.
blow through it and not pay attention to it, right? When we're just
Yeah.
going
Would
about
that be
our
like
as
a?
usual.
I guess that would be a thing that not just within the challenge, right? Like whether you're joining our challenge or not. I guess to set the tone. What's that? What's the what would you that what would the theme for this week be? Something
Hmm.
like that, you know,
Yeah.
creating that theme of like, okay, this week is like more like buckling down, making sure that my surroundings are kind of like where I want to hang out on, right? In,
Mm.
right? Like or like kind of like our no sourcing. And that's more of like a, you know, finding things that we don't need, just being more, you know, I guess conscious about, I guess, over accumulating stuff, right? Like I
Right.
think
Like
all of us are guilty.
overconsumption.
Right.
Yeah.
And when we get in the face, I'm like, you know, like I got rid of so many shoes that, you know, and then JC like says like, you're not gonna wear this. I was like, no, because I've gotten everything I want out of it. You know, like I literally, I'm literally selling a shoe that I wore in Germany, and I'm like, I wore it in Germany already. Like, what can that shoe
It's
go
already
to?
reached its highest
Right, right.
purpose.
Like that's its peak, right? Like, so I'm
That's
selling
funny.
that, right? And then that's the story itself. Like, and I have so many photos on that. So I was like, there, wore it there. Like, it's right there.
Yeah.
So I think something like that, like, just letting go of things. I think that's one thing that I think I'm learning about this kind of the challenge that we're that I want to carry throughout. You know,
Yeah.
like the next year. I mean, this year.
Yeah.
It's very helpful mentally.
It is. And it's one of those things that if you don't put it and like pin it into the forefront of
Yep.
your mind on
Hmm.
purpose, it'll just slip away and you won't
Hmm.
really think about it. Like you have to be intentional with having that lens and keeping it long term. And
Yep.
maybe like some things just become a habit, but I do
Yeah.
think when it comes to like our relationship with our stuff or whatever or our environment, like it always tends to drift, right? It's like
Right.
we
Yeah.
can't always focus on everything all the time at
No.
once. So yeah, you have to catch those drifts and recalibrate them in a way. But I am really excited for our challenge next week because first of all, we get a clean slate for not
Hmm.
spending money, which honestly I feel like it's going to be easy for me because I'm going to be, spoiler alert, when you're hearing this, I'm already there in Washington D.C. all week.
Oh, perfect.
So I'm not
You're
going
gonna
to
be
be
here for a full week,
yeah,
Monday to Friday.
Monday to Friday.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah. So that's going to be really fun. I'm hoping and planning to hang out with some of our eBay GR peeps while I'm
Hmm.
in town and hopefully like visit the office there. And that's the GR means government relations if you haven't been listening for a
Hmm.
long time. And that's the department within eBay that we went to Germany with. So
Yeah.
we work closely with them. Ken and I both do on a whole bunch of different government relations issues. And so, I'm like, hey, I'm going to be in town. If there's anything we can talk about or anything I can help with, like, let me know. So we already have some time set up. So that'll be cool.
That's
I'll have to report back
exciting.
about that. But
Um.
yeah, it'll be easy for me not to do like typical sourcing because I'm going to be like with a suitcase, not like out and not have a lot of time either to go thrifting or something like that. However, our challenge, I might have to like go dumpster diving or something because our challenge for next week is first of all, no spending again, right? So clean
Mhm.
slate there. But it's really about how your network is a treasure trove. And so there are a lot of ways to spin the new challenge. And I do actually really encourage everybody to figure out which way is the most comfortable
Right.
of, all these brainstorming ideas we're going to talk about of how to do it. And then also which way is least comfortable and try them both. There are so many ways to tap into your network, both
Mm-hmm.
close and distant, to find free inventory for your store.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, some of the things that came to my mind first when we were developing this challenge are consignment clients, which some people might not be comfortable with, but maybe it's just like one thing for your mother-in-law or something.
Yeah, or maybe something like expensive.
Yeah, maybe
right?
high end.
Yeah.
That requires, like, at best kind of a clear contract, at loosest just a verbal agreement about what the split's going to be,
Mm-hmm.
who's responsible for what, how much time is allotted to sell this
Mm-hmm.
thing. So consignment is definitely an option. Some people's entire businesses are consignment.
Right.
You can also, like I kind of said earlier, dumpster dive. You can, legally dig through people's trash in various ways to find stuff that's discarded, right? That they just don't want to deal with, and it's easier for them to just dump it.
Or like a free community free posts, free items, right?
Free on Marketplace, curb alert stuff.
Yep.
You can also just straight up ask your friends and family and tell them, hey, I'm doing a challenge. I'm trying to list the most I possibly can this week of stuff that I get for free. So if you're cleaning out your closet, I'll be happy to pick up all of your stuff. And
or maybe offer somebody to clean up their closet. Kind of like your experience. Remember that you were helping your friend because they were kind of moving, so you kind of helped them.
Oh yeah,
that could be a thing
for sure. And I mean, sometimes people are just so overwhelmed. And if they don't live close to like a Goodwill or something, it's like, well, then when I bag all this stuff up, then I got to figure out how to get rid of it. And it's going to sit in my trunk for 3 months or whatever. So make it easy for people and just say, whatever you're getting rid of, I'll take it. I'll go through it and pull out what I want. And the rest I'll donate for you. And you can just say goodbye to it on your doorstep. That is really valuable to a lot of people. So there are a lot of ways to do that. But what else? What are some other ways to be sourcing for free that has anything to do with like your network?
And now we've talked about like like kind of like that external connections, right? But what if your spouse is not involved in your business, and what if they are not e-commerce people? You could ask them like, hey, is there something that I could sell for you? I was gonna say, man, you could sell so many things for John.
Like his local
but he's an e-commerce guy.
Yeah, he has his own eBay store. Yeah. What I could do though, well, I guess this wouldn't count. Well, I guess though we didn't specify. So here's the thing.
Hey, it could be consigned.
Well, I was just thinking, John has his own store. He also has his own death pile. So if I was really nice, I could just list his whole death pile for him, but I would list it in his store, not in my store. So would that count?
Yeah, and he just has to give you a percentage every time something sells.
Right. Yeah, that's
just put on the SKU and a listed.
Yeah. I honestly might, because I'm really sick of looking at it. So also,
and just bring it to your shop.
I'm not even kidding. I feel like this week's challenge was trying to come at me a week too early, because in this week that we just had where the challenge was not this, where the challenge was finding stuff around home, I had 2 people that I've never done any kind of consignment for randomly ask me, hey, can you help me figure out how much this thing is worth? And would you sell it for me if it turns out that it's worth something? And I said, yes. So if that transpires, well, it's not going to happen in the next week because I'll be gone. But, I'll be traveling.
But you could still build that up. I mean, you can do your research and, hey, send me photos.
Right. I just probably won't get it listed during that time while I'm gone.
Okay.
But that's still really cool. It's still kind of what we're talking about. And then also, as you know, Ken, I was driving home we were talking on the phone while I was driving, and I was driving home from...
Yeah, and she interrupted me because...
Oh, yeah. I was in the middle of nowhere, you guys. Cornfields left, right, and center. And I was driving by this farm, and there was like a flatbed out by the road with a free sign. And it looked like they'd had a yard sale or something. This was all the leftovers. And I was like, Ken, I'm going to have to call you back. I'll send you a picture, but I got to stop and look at this stuff. And I pulled 4 mugs out of this free pile, but I'm not going to count those because that wasn't in the correct week. So, but I'm just saying, if you're like open to it, there are
Mm-hmm.
opportunities everywhere, and they might not always happen at the right time, but they still happen.
Right. I mean, just becoming open to it, right? And then just thinking about it. I'm a firm believer if it's something that you're thinking of, you're gonna see more of it, right?
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
so I usually don't see a free sign, but now we talk about it. Watch me find more free signs on the road or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Another
that.
great one, I just thought about this because at least where we are, it's getting into full blown like yard sale season
Mm-hmm.
and estate sales. I got to tell you guys this story actually because this wasn't even my move. It was my genius friend Lacey's move.
Mm-hmm.
But this was when I lived in Georgia. This was the thing that made me move out of my garage to a storage unit for the first
Okay.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because Lacey is awesome and she went to this yard sale that was it was like down in Atlanta somewhere and I lived like basically an hour north of where this was.
Mm-hmm.
But she went to this super cool estate sale. The lady was had obviously been like a collector and had all this really cool vintage housewares and collections of things. And they were just kind of like I think it was probably like family run, like it wasn't an estate sale
Right.
company. But it was like the last day. She went to it one day, it was still going on the next day, and that was the last day of it. And she asked them, "What are you guys going to do with all the leftovers when this is over?" And they were like, "We don't know yet. Like we haven't figured it out. Probably just take it to the to Goodwill or whatever." And
Mm-hmm.
she was like, "Well, what if I came and got it for free?
Mm-hmm.
Because that saves them all this time and effort.
Right.
I don't have to pay
Loading it and everything.
to
Yeah.
haul it off, right?" And they were like, "Yeah, okay." And then had to scramble and like get a U-Haul and figure out. I mean, she had a 20 by 20 storage unit full of stuff. There's furniture. There was like all
Just
kinds of
everything.
yes. So maybe a month or something after this had all happened, she talked to me about it and was like, "So I know this is great stuff. However, I'm not or she wasn't a reseller at all.
Oh wow.
She just knew it was good and she was
Right.
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 Like it was awesome. But she was basically like, "Is there a way for us to partner on this because you already have like a well-oiled machine that lists
Mm-hmm.
stuff and, you have the shipping." I mean, it's like, yeah, I had a business up and running for years at this point already.
Yeah.
And so I went down and looked at it and I said, "Well, the first thing we'd have to do, it would have to be closer to me. Like I can't be commuting an hour to this
Yeah.
inventory. Like it needs to come up to where I am so I can process it." And so we figured it out and I was like, "Well, that's it. There's no way that all this stuff's going to fit in my garage." And
Right.
I mean, it was like un unpicked treasure. Like they were just
Right.
boxes
Right.
just with stuff thrown in. It wasn't organized.
Mm-hmm.
Like the estate sale people hadn't, they just threw stuff in boxes to pack it all up. So it was like a total surprise every time we opened a box, like what's
Right.
in here. And it might be something super valuable and it might not. And I still culled a lot of it. It probably took me 6 months to process all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I paid $0 for all of that. Like I
Right.
wish I could actually go back right now and tell you how much money I've made. And I split it with her because she found it.
Right. Right. Right.
But that was incredible. And actually that happened right before COVID. And so it was
Mm.
very helpful because I didn't have to source for 6 months.
Right.
I
Right.
had
Right.
I had a freaking huge storage unit full of stuff to process.
Right.
So anyway,
Yeah. A
you
lot of
never
stuff like
know.
that. Yeah. A lot of stuff like that. And you just have to be mindful of it, right? Kind of
Yeah.
just like that person that just asked. You just have to ask, like, hey, like I've seen like garage sale videos that people would just come back later in the day, right? Like
Yeah.
and see. I've seen some people do that, and they just say like, hey, if you guys, I'll be willing to take it off of your hands, and donate it for you, and I'll pick through it. So
Yeah,
that I think
absolutely.
that's a thing too. I mean, if you live in a community where you guys do like a community yard sale
Oh
or something
yeah.
like that,
Or
I think
even
that's
just
a
like one off in your neighborhood.
yeah,
Like go talk to them near the end of the sale when they are thinking, "Oh my gosh, I don't want to load all this stuff."
yeah, that's
you
true.
know? It's likely that they'll say yes and sometimes there will even be more stuff that they didn't even get to putting out or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would just say think creatively about it. Be brave. Like let people tell you no,
Yeah,
right? You're
yeah,
really just you're trying to offer them something that is useful to them, but they can still say no and that's fine. Move on.
yeah, and no, that is a great perspective to have. um, and just like you said, find something that maybe you're not comfortable with, or you're not used to it, maybe a different category and stuff like that, um, and just try it. And
Yeah.
it'll take your mind off spending money.
Right. Well, and I do really like that as kind of a fringe benefit of this. People might end up selling stuff that they don't normally sell because, in my mind, that's always been a way of diversifying inventory
Mm-hmm.
and diversifying in your business. And you never know, like, what cool little niche you might stumble into that might become, something that you really enjoy looking
Right.
for or collecting yourself or whatever. So just like don't rule anything out. Like this is a great time to sharpen your research skills and challenge yourself to figure out the value of things that you aren't like really practiced at sourcing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So I think that would be a good challenge. So also keep an eye out on our Instagram. We'll be posting some of like some graphics in our posts and in our story. Interact with us there. Thank you to the people that were like liking and just giving some thumbs up emoji and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whenever you guys are doing your you guys challenge or something, something that you're doing for this sprint month, make sure you tag me at the Hustle Bee or Anna at Anna Finds Everything, or at the Seller Club or at Seller Club Podcast. That way we could make sure to interact with you guys, because um, anything that we're doing differently is always going to be a challenge. Anything
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be out of norm will be somewhat lonely or difficult, mentally draining. But let's support each other. We're there for each other. So again, make sure you hit us up on Instagram. And again, also, tax season is right there. It's right here. Make sure you follow at Seller Ledger. Make sure you follow him on Instagram. Try him out. The last few years have been the easiest tax
Tax
prep
prep
for
years.
us.
Actually,
Um,
can I say something about
yeah,
that really
do it.
quick in the spirit of tax
Yeah.
season? Because tax day is happening during this week of when this
Mm-hmm.
episode drops. And I'm a really newly multi-channel seller, like
Mm-hmm.
as of the last couple months. And something I didn't really pay attention to before now is that with Seller Ledger, you don't like pay for like per channel, per sales channel. It's just based on transaction volume. So you
Yep.
might have a bunch of different, accounts or stores or platforms that you sell on, and there's like no extra charges for that.
Right. Right.
I didn't realize how cool that was
Yeah,
until
because
I
some
started
people,
selling
yeah, some
multi-platform.
some software will charge you per store or per platform or something
Right.
like that. So Seller Ledger doesn't charge you extra if you are multi-platform seller. So that's a pretty cool thing.
I
So
know. It's a
huge
great
shout out
feature.
to huge shout out to them for partnering with us in this podcast, and we will see you in the next episode. Peace.
Bye.
Yeah, we still grooving. We're still grooving. Came in the week, had a plan in mind. Switching up the pace, trying different grind. Batch it up or break it down. Still getting work when we come around. Sneezing through it, still locked in. Back stock moving, let it begin. What we had just sitting there, turning loud, now it's in the air. Work what you got, don't wait on more. Turn that pile into profit for sure. Step by step now. Now you see the play, building now. Let it pay. Didn't need to go out and spend. Found the wins right where we been. Closet bins, yeah, that stash hit. Whole new game when you tap in. Time is money, that's the truth. Where you spend it shows in the proof. Let's run it, more control. That's how you really grow. Work what you got. Don't wait on more. Turn that pile into profit for sure. Step by step now. Now you see the play. Building now. Let it pay. Switch the rhythm, find your lane. Try it different. That's the game. What works best, you decide. Just stay in it, stay in stride. You got now you know the move. Clean it up, yeah. Let it grow. No excuses, just show up right. That's how you win your night.
Appreciate y'all rocking with us. Sell a club.
Yeah.